Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Alex Wilhelm. Now today we're going to discuss the politics of PR and how a comms professional can work an entire career with clients they both agree with and don't. Now, we all know that PR is a large, growing, and very well-funded industry, and that fact is partially, now not entirely, but partially predicated on big spin from technology and politics. Now, it's 2015, and that means we're often seeing technology and politics rub against one another. So think about Uber and Airbnb and Instacart. They all raise very important policy questions. Are Uber drivers employees? Is your house really a hotel? And so forth. And that means that policy right now is a battleground between these two different hemispheres. And in response to that, we're seeing more spin from both politics and tech on PR because everyone wants paid spin for their own side. To put it very simply, as tech goes political, politics is going tech. And in between those two different areas is policy PR, which is a partisan voice on an often moral issue that's paid to say so. So for the people that work at the crossroads between technology and politics, how do they do it? Let's find out. Here to tell us more is Amy Widdowson Mains.
Amy Widdowson Mains is a director at 463, a communication shop with a policy focus. Previously, she was an account manager and before that held the role of marketing manager at Say Media. Mains is known inside the tech and policy beat for being honest and plain-spoken, two qualities that in a realm of politics can be in short supply.
Please welcome to the program Amy Widdowson Mains.
Hello, sir.
You look far too happy to be on this program.
Well, I'm always far too happy for all things.
Is that why you work in comms? Is that kind of a requirement to actually be in your industry? Is that you're just smiley all the time?
I don't think so, but it helps.
Okay, now, very broadly, you have a lot of clients that are different parts of the political spectrum. And I'm curious, would you be comfortable representing someone who is very different politically from yourself, i.e. a Donald Trump, or something that's kind of outside the normal political box, if you will?
Well, what I will say is personally, I would never represent tobacco or guns.
That's so you have some personal, very strict red lines, if you will.
I do. Okay. But what I will say is that the majority of the clients that we're working with are firms or associations that are having their technology butt up against policy. Okay. So in that respect, it isn't a party line issue. It's the fact that it needs to be navigating
elephants
that thing.
And donkeys, but I mean, certainly a lot of these policy issues are political. The Uber employee question is very important and is now actually a football on the GOP and Democratic side. So when you say it's not political, that feels a little weak. I mean, I feel like you can't just divorce it entirely from the larger American political process.
No, and I think that actually that's a really good point. Startups up until this point haven't necessarily been acknowledging that a lot of the things that they do are political.
Absolutely, that's fair.
And that is something that needs to be taken into account at this point, frankly, from the inception of the idea, and that's new.
Fine, but on a more general note, you wouldn't have a hard time personally doing business with a client that wasn't, again, Donald Trump or a gun lobby on a day-to-day professional basis.
No, I will say that I am a professional and that I'm willing to work with a broad spectrum of political
So your
ideas.
personal politics only exclude clients but don't really bring you towards other people. So you wouldn't say, oh, I love these guys, I definitely want to work with them, let's bring them in as a client for our firm.
Well, but I think that we often have clients come to us in the first place, which is a good problem to have. But I will say—
That was a beautiful humble brag. I love that, by the way.
Hashtag humble brag.
Hashtag.
But I will say that we are attracted to clients that have a unique issue from a technological perspective that will either face issues at the state or federal level. And those are coming out in strange ways. You mentioned Uber, Airbnb's having issue at the local state.
Instacart and all the way down the line,
Exactly. And I also think that lending startups are going to have issues as well. I think fintech is going to be bumping up against a lot of stuff.
So how do you compartmentalize your own views from those of your clients? Because you really have to put on your best work hat, go to the office and kick ass for them, even if you don't agree with them. You promote them, you help them do better in the media, get them more press.
Yeah, so one of the great things that we do as strategic communications for our clients is that we work with really smart people that are dealing with really tough problems. And we have to make sure that they're able to take their work that they're doing out to a variety of different audiences.
So do you not compartmentalize at all then? Do you just kind of go in there full force and still be full Amy? Or do you really set aside part of your own views to not slap them in the face when they're saying foolish things?
Well, part of our jobs as professionals are to be the ones that say no and to be the ones that are strategic and make sure that the client is using the right things at the right time rather slowly.
Well, I'm very glad I'm not you because I don't do that at all. I just kind of mush into one little bucket. Now, one thing I've noticed watching the policy PR space over the last, I want to say 2 or 3 years, is really the growth of these large in-house shops. Does that diminish the importance of external policy shops like your firm, or is that really just external and supplemental?
I think they really work well together.
Okay.
I'd say the thing that we bring as an external shop is we bring an awareness of a lot of things that are going on. We're watching a variety of different issues. We have an external perspective on things. And when you're in-house, whether that's with comms or content or policy, you kind of get a more myopic view of what's going on in the world. We're able to bring a more universal, larger scale view to the work that we do.
That was a really good sideways insult, by the way. I like that very
No,
much.
no,
Yes,
no,
absolutely.
it was not an insult.
All right.
No.
Before we go, you've seen tech win a couple battles and lose some over the last couple years, like patents not going well, cybersecurity not going well, NSA reform kind of okay. Over the next 2 or 3 years, does tech win more battles or does it lose more battles?
I would say it's not about winning or losing. It's about ensuring that the right policy is propping up some of the innovations that are coming through. And with that, I'd say that tech is moving a lot faster than policy. Tech innovations are happening a lot faster than policy, and policy is going to need to keep up.
To give us one tip, how can we push policy forward at a faster rate today?
I'd encourage people to get involved. I'd encourage people to vote. I'd encourage people to pay attention to the issues that are happening around them. And then I would tell organizations that it's important to keep policy in mind as they're developing their products, keeping communication open between DC and here. That's
Is there
crucial.
any communication between DC and here?
There's
I
a lot
thought there was
more.
zero, actually.
People like to think that there's no communication, but it's there's a lot of really great people working in the industry right now, and I'm lucky to work with them.
All right, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Bullish airs every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, and you can find it here on TechCrunch.com.